Authenticity isn't a nice to have in leadership. It's a non-negotiable. In a world full of facades, only your truth is the boldest move you can make. Welcome to the Danni Vee Show, the podcast for high-performing business owners, leaders, and entrepreneurs ready to lead with elegance, courage, and radical responsibility. I'm Danni Vee, and I'm here to help you strip away the fluff and step fully into your power at the boardroom and in business. In each episode, we'll share no-nonsense insights and real conversations on what it takes to show up authentically, make tough decisions with grace, and create impact at the highest levels. So if you're ready to own your voice and lead on your terms, you're in the right place. So let's dive in. Welcome back to the Danni Vee Show. Today is such an exciting day at the Danni Vee Show. I am joined by someone I genuinely admire, not just for the empire she's built, but for the woman she is behind it. Tina Tower is a multi-seven-figure entrepreneur, founder of Her Empire Builder, and a leader who has helped thousands of women step into business ownership with confidence. But what makes Tina truly extraordinary isn't just her strategy or her success. It's her generosity, her grounded presence, and the way she champions other women without ego. She is proof that you can be a multi-seven-figure business owner, a human, and someone that truly and genuinely wants to support and help and champion other females. So let's dive in. Welcome, Tina. It is such an honor to have you on the Danni Vee Show and to be sharing all of your incredible wisdom with my audience. So thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Danni. Stoked to be here.
Yeah, so awesome. So we're going to dive straight in. And the first question that I would like to ask you is really thinking about how you've created this incredible empire and what you had to become to really hold that amount of success in your business.
Yeah, I love you starting with a really light question.
We have no time for light.
Yeah, okay, so we'll go deep real fast. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. If I was to answer it properly, that is a very deep question because, I mean, I'm 42 now. I was 20 when I started my business. So I would say at each level and iteration of my business, I have had to become very many different versions of myself every time that I wanted to do something that previous versions of me could never even see was possible. I mean, if, my first 5 years of business me could see me now, like she'd just be like, what the actual? Like, that's incredible. Right down to, I mean, gosh, I wish I could have had the wisdom that I have now and the energy that I had then. I was
how brilliant.
So fast in so many wrong directions. But even just with, I started my first business was a tutoring center and birthday party place and an educational toy store. And then from that, I wrote a curriculum, which then was designed to help children learn to read. And then we started a franchise with that. And when I started franchising, I was the youngest woman in Australian history to start a franchise company from scratch. So that, most franchisors are men in their 60s. And so it was very different then. And I remember when I started and I thought I had to be someone that I wasn't in order to do that. And I tried, I went to Portman's and I bought black suits because I thought that I had to be a very serious business person. I just wasn't comfortable enough in my skin to really embrace or to do what I wanted to do. And I always had very big dreams. I was very ambitious as a teenager. I was going to Anthony Robbins and Robert Kiyosaki seminars when I was 16. I always wanted to be meant for more, but I just didn't. A part of me was very ambitious, but didn't believe that I could. I thought I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I was too young. I was too, it was always too something. And it really took me until I reckon my early 30s, maybe even mid 30s probably early 30s. I think it was around 32, 33 that I started feeling like I deserve this. I'm meant to have this. I've got this and I really started to trust myself in anything I want to create. I know I can figure out because I'd failed enough by that point to know that no amount of failure will keep me down. I'll just be able to fail, learn from it, and it's just, stepping stones or stumbling blocks kind of thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I hate failing, but I know that I can overcome it. Like I had that confidence in myself. And from that point, becoming that version of myself allowed me to do it in a lot calmer sort of energy and less proof energy, and not trying to prove I was worth it, but more coming from a place of this is the impact I want to make, and this is what I want to achieve. And I could just go about a bit more quietly, confidently achieving it.
That's brilliant. And I really love how you shared that the failure, there was lessons. So, just shifting the way that you look at that as well, because, I'm very much like you. I'm a high achiever. So failing, I don't love it. But when you
Yeah.
find the lesson, it's worth having that failure so you can grow and become the incredible, well, empire builder that you are, especially.
Either. I
Yeah.
think often, you know, I know when I was starting out in my first 5, 10 years of business, I thought like once I get to this stage, everything's going to be, if I could only just get to here,
The
it's all going to
rainbows
be
and
fine.
butterflies. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like this never-ending, constant, curious experiment. Even this year, like I've ran Her Empire Builder for 6 years, which is my membership for female course creators. But this year, I felt like playing and experimenting and going like the industry's changing a lot, and I want to test a lot of things. And so I've started this new course, Welcome to Adulting, which is totally left of field, like for teenagers to get ready for
Yeah.
adulthood. With that, like I'm trying all these weird and wonderful things and different funnels. And even with Her Empire Builder, we're launching and I'm doing so many things that I haven't done before. And I know a lot of it will fail. A lot of it will not work out. But I know some of it will work out so well that it'll make that worth it. And I think that, being willing to do that and knowing that it's the strategy that failed and not me that failed
Yes,
is a very
absolutely.
important part of our growth as we go through business.
Yes, absolutely. And I guess that that really leads into my next question is when you think about all the leadership myths out there, because there's so much about you should be doing this, you should be doing that. I don't like that word at all. What is a leadership myth you had to unlearn to really become scalable?
Of probably balance, which probably isn't the smartest thing for me to say on a leadership podcast that a lot of women listen to. But, we're always striving for this balance. And I always felt so guilty that I didn't have the balance right and was trying this like endless pursuit of this elusive balance. And when
Mhm.
I gave that up and started running my business more in seasons, where I'm like, okay, in this chapter, it's a growth chapter and I'm sprinting my little heart out. And yes, it means health might take a back seat and I'm not as present for my kids and different things because this is my priority right now. And then when that chapter is finished, then I go back and I go, all right, now we're in maintenance in the business. Like all the foundation is put in place, that's all there. And now I'm like wife of the year and taking all the trips with my kids and, getting my health on track and doing that. I find in the build phase, that was a lot easier. Now I have actually reached that stage where I do think I can have a really balanced kind of day to day. But in the early days where you're trying to make something from nothing and you're trying to
Mhm.
get past that first, like I think your first 100,000 in business is the hardest you will ever make when you do that. And then it's like a little bit easier as you go from 100,000 to a million and then past a million, everything gets so much easier because you've got resources and team and all of the different things and you know more and you've got more cushion and less desperation and all of that sort of stuff. But I think that is probably one of the biggest things was just the guilt that plagues you when you're feeling torn into trying to do everything and you can't do everything. And so if you can drop that and just go, all right, I'm going to make the best decisions that I'm going to do with the information I have at the time and do the best I can right now and I'm going to get back to that. It's okay.
That is the best advice, and in my opinion, that is balance because you're in a growth period, so you're balancing
Yeah.
that because you're going to come back and be the wife and the mother of the year at some other stage. So
Yeah.
I just agree with everything you said so much, and being okay with that and letting go of the guilt because I find that female leaders, especially, are the worst with guilt.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
if you're a mother because I should be doing this, I should be doing that, but really even just reframing that and looking at, what example are you actually giving your children of how to be driven and really passionate about what you do
Yeah.
and that's really, I think, such a great example as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully I can give some faith to anyone with younger children because I mean, my kids don't know me as not having a business. I started the business 4 years before they were born, and they're 18 and 16 now, and they're such good kids, and we have such a good relationship, and they're so in tune to everything and understand business and life, and
So
they're
amazing.
so advantaged from having grown up in an entrepreneurial household that don't guilt yourself for it because it's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I agree so much. So, as your influence has grown, Tina, how has your relationship with power changed?
Could you ask the big questions,
I
don't you,
do.
Danny? I'm
I
like,
love the big
"Hang on,
questions.
I need to think about this power." I don't know. I don't know if I've ever thought about, like, power, say. How's my relationship with power changed, with influence? I guess in some ways, I take it more seriously, and in some ways, I take it less seriously.
Mhm.
So, an example of that was I had someone earlier today just ask me, one of my clients, but one of the memberships. So we don't normally have one-on-ones. It was just a question on the back of a masterclass call. And she was asking me, like, with my ascension model, should I price it like this or this or this or this or this? And there was a point there that I was like, hang on, I got to be really careful because I know if I flippantly just off the top of my head answer this without asking all the clarifying questions, I could send her on the wrong path for like a
Mm.
year that she's going down. So I am a lot more cognizant now that people are listening to what I
Mm.
have to say. And so I do think that that has developed over time where I'm now a little bit more careful with it. But then on the flip side, I don't take myself anywhere near as seriously as I used to. I am less likely to care about other people's opinions than what I was, such like so many of us, such a chronic people pleaser
Mm.
in the first kind of 10, 15 years of my business journey. And now of course, I wanna do good work and I want people to like me. Like, I won't say I'm evolved enough to not care at all, but I care about the people I care about and I kinda let the rest go. So I think it's changed on a few different levels.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And I think, as you talk about the people pleaser and bringing in joy, I'd love to understand that a little bit more because I'm actually on that journey right now, Tina, where I have just been so serious in building the business because I've been a
Mm,
business owner for over 25 years. I've run, multiple multi six-figure businesses.
yeah,
And I just haven't been I've been serious the whole time. So now I'm really trying to shift and I'm in my 40s as well. I'm really trying to shift into joy and I'm really
yes.
struggling.
Are you?
Yeah, because I find that,
Okay.
the joy, like, because you've been over 20, I think it's been 28 years. I was talking to somebody the other day I've been in business for, long time.
So long.
That, and to undo that seriousness and bring
Yeah,
joy, like I find myself, I do, and then you revert back to that unconscious like
yeah,
behavior of like, oh no, I'm serious and take everything seriously. So I'd
yeah.
love to understand a little bit of how you undid that.
Yeah, so I am a bit the opposite in that my baseline is the joy.
Okay.
So I will, like I was talking to my son about this the other day because he's going into year 12 now, like he's in year 12 and getting a lot of anxiety and different things. And, it was so typical for his age and that
My
year.
daughter's year 12.
And I was like, yeah, I'm like, they really put a lot of pressure on them at school. Like, they had their first day back at school and they're like, this is going to be the hardest year of your life. And I'm like, oh my God, what sort of a pep talk do you call
Yes,
that?
exactly.
Anyway, I'm going, and, we were having conversations and he actually said to me, and your kids can be such good mirrors. He was like, yes, we're similar in so many ways, but you always believe everything's going to work out for you. I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "No matter what, I see you and you're like, this is happening and this is happening. And you could be like, things are imploding and everything's going wrong. But you always think, you know what? There's something on the other side of this that's all going to turn out like better than I can imagine." And I do have that
Yeah.
like base level optimism bias, which I think has served me so well throughout my life is I can be in the thick of it. And I still think, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I bet you it's going to be great on the other
Yeah.
side. But so for me, I'm not a stayer. So what I mean by that is when something's not making me happy anymore, I'll stick with it for like max a year. And then if I'm no longer happy, if the joy is gone, if I'm not having, that song, Are We Having Any Fun? Like if I'm not having fun doing it, I'll just change direction. And I think a lot of people are really, I don't know if it's pride or if it feels like a failure, to stop doing what they're doing, but I will change. So, like, my whole journey, I started the tutoring center and the toy store, and then I had Kai, my firstborn, 4 years into that business, and it was just getting hard with trying to juggle being the mom I wanted to be and having a 7-day-a-week business. So I changed and I started licensing. And then we started growing the license, and I had Kai in 2008, Cohen in 2009. So I had little babies and licensing, which suited me perfectly. But then they got a little bit bigger. And I was like, I'm ready to stick into something else. So then we started franchising, ran the franchise. Then the franchise got so big and was like, I'm not having any fun anymore. Like, this is heavy and responsibility laden. And so threw it out, sold, went
Mm.
into my next, started in online business, sold courses, and then was like, I'm not really having fun with the whole churn and burn of courses. I want to know people. I want membership. I want community. So went in, did that, and I will keep doing that until I'm not having any fun anymore. And then I will change into the next thing.
Yeah, I really love that. And I think for me, that's helped me so much. And I really hope it's helping the listeners too, because my baseline is optimism, because I am very similar in
Yeah.
things are going to work out. You know, that you can be in
Yeah.
the depths of like just so much and just go, well, it's going to be okay. And often people will say to me, oh, how are you going? And I will say, I'm actually fine. I've just,
Yeah.
I'm just got a lot on my plate or whatever it is. I like how you
And
said
it's always
about,
like there's different seasons of that. Like, there's seasons where you've got a lot on your plate and you're in the mud and you're pushing through
yeah.
and it's no fun. But if that season's lasting, like, not ending, then
Mhm.
then it's time to move on. And I think sometimes people are too hard on themselves to call it. And so they're just like, well, this is my lot in life. Like, this is what I'm stuck with. We're never stuck with anything ever.
Yes, I love that. Yes, amen, sister.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you mentioned before about building community, because with your memberships, you've been building community. And from what I know of you, that's a really big part of your business, and you're
Yeah.
really passionate about community. And
Yeah.
how do you continue to have connection as a non-negotiable in your business? And how do you continue to build that as the world keeps shifting and changing?
It has shifted. I mean, it's shifted and changed a lot, especially in the last 12 months with
Mm,
how we work.
yeah.
And at the moment in the world, economically, politically, with AI, like,
Mm,
there's more uncertainty, I think, than there ever has been in
mhm.
my
I
business
agree.
journey.
Yeah.
So I think you've just got to kind of roll with it and adapt and pivot. And like I said, I'm trying a lot of different things with our new launches and marketing methods, because the industry is so saturated and so loud, and attention is so much harder to get, and all of these different things. But where I focus on the community is, I'm introverted, which, a lot of people, I present extroverted because I have ADD and I'm very enthusiastic about the work that I do. So it can present quite extroverted, but I'm an introvert, which means, most of my day is spent alone behind a computer screen or by myself. And I love it.
Yeah.
And when I spend time with people, like, I like the particular people I like. So I decided I wanted to create an environment that is like, my husband will put stick on me sometimes, going, if I'm like either outraged at something or confused by something, going, I just don't understand how people are doing this and this. He's like, Tina, it's because you exist in like a bubble where everyone's like wonderful, ambitious, kind, fabulous women. That's all you talk to. I'm like, uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. I like it in here. Like, it's nice in my
My
bubble.
husband calls it Danny's world. I'm the same. And I get so
Our
shocked when people aren't
reality.
like that. Like literally
Yes.
like,
And I do. Yeah. I
yeah.
try and not exist in an echo chamber. Like, I
Yeah.
do try and, read external things, and I go to a lot of conferences to get a lot of the feedback. But really, on my day to day, I like being surrounded by people that are just good humans doing good
Yes.
work with people. And so that's been a lot of my focus, because when you do that, it doesn't really matter if the industry changes very much. The word of mouth and the reputation stays. So
Yeah, I love
still,
that.
even though I'm so heavy online, most of my business comes from people referring. Most of it.
That's brilliant. That's so good. And it's
Yeah.
such a testament to you as well.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, very much so. I'm a big believer in self-trust. So in my leadership business, and I work with business owners and entrepreneurs just like you do. And it really comes down to self-trust. So I find that a lot of my clients and a lot of people that I speak to, they find it really difficult to trust others because they don't trust themselves
Mm.
already. So I'd love to learn from you how you have built that self-trust because you're very certain about, what you offer and you said you've let go of the people pleasing and that's a really great sign of self-trust as well. How have you built that in yourself? Like if you would be able to give one example of how people can really start diving deeper into trusting who they are and what their mission is.
I'm much better at self-trust than trusting others. I would say like my biggest limiter in business is the distrust I have for other people. But with myself, like I think that it's built over time. I think so often people are trying to go from zero to hero, or
Mm,
they're looking at someone, say someone's starting an online course and they look at me and they're like, right, I need to do everything she's doing. No, like that's not there yet. So it can seem really overwhelming. I'll have my clients sometimes go like, I look at everything that you're doing and it's just so overwhelming. And it's like, well, you don't go from 0 to 100 overnight. It's the small
mm,
little things that you do that builds your confidence over time. It's like those micro steps that every time you do something. I mean, I remember when I wanted to start building my personal brand and I started speaking, I would throw up every time before I went on stage. Like it was terribly
wow.
embarrassing. I would have shaky hands, my voice would shake. I just couldn't do it. And the only way, I had a speaking coach and she's like, the only way you're going to get better is repetition. You just have to show yourself that you're not going to die. Like it's just this nervous system thing. And so I booked 12 speaking engagements every week for 12 weeks. And I spoke at like the Rotary, the Business Enterprise Center, daycare center, like tiny little places, but just places to like get runs on the board. And that was very specific in the early days at showing me, all right, I can just take that next step. And then the confidence grows just that little bit, the trust grows that little bit, and I can just take that next step and that next step. And so when I go to do something that I have no idea how to do, I know I can just take that next step and I'll learn it as I go and I'm gonna be okay. But that trust
Brilliant.
only came from repeating those micro steps so that confidence would build. I didn't, I would be blown away. Like, I wish I could have a conversation with my 25-year-old self now, like, and just go,
Mm,
don't worry about this. Like, just get over this and do this. But some things we've got to go through it, because I think that the way we do build self-trust is by doing the thing, like actually taking the action. It's like that daring greatly citizen in a republic, that in the arena thing where it's better
yes,
to be, marred by blood and sweat and tears
absolutely.
and than with the cold and timid souls on the sideline. Like there's so many people that I think are so worried about making a mistake or doing the wrong thing or if they're going to look silly or do that. And so they just don't give themselves the start. Whereas, like, I want everyone to know it's always messy at the start. Like, of course, it's going to be messy because you don't know what you're doing yet because you haven't done it yet. So you just
Mhm.
got to get in and take like that little step. And then you take the next little step and the next little step. And before you know it, you look back and go, holy guacamole, like, I did the thing. I did all the thing. This is amazing.
Yeah, I love that so much and building that trust. So what I speak about like in exactly what you're saying is that you're proving to yourself that you're going to do it. So for
Yeah.
example, if you want to go and get more fit and you're going to walk every day and then you set your alarm and then you snooze your alarm and then you snooze your alarm, you're actually telling your mind that, hey, I'm not actually going to show up for you.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
what you're talking about is brilliant. I actually really love the 12 speaking gigs
Oh,
in a week for
it's
12 weeks.
rough.
That is
Yeah.
brilliant. That's
It
quite
was
an
rough.
exciting
But
challenge.
I stopped throwing up after the 3rd, so that went pretty quick, and then I was just, like, super nervous. I was super nervous the whole time. I was actually probably still super nervous, like, the year after and kept doing it, and now I can get on and I still get that rush, like, when people are starting to introduce me, I get that, like, heart palpitation, but it's more like that
That's
excitement, that
excitement,
nerve.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it
Ah,
goes away.
that's fantastic. So for the listeners that are, taking some notes, whatever you wanna do, just do it 12 times a week for 12 weeks, and you're gonna
Consistency,
overcome it.
repetition.
Ah, the
Yeah.
repetition. So what would be a daily leadership practice, that keeps you grounded and keeps you in like a human state. So because you truly are the epitome of like a grounded human and you're really genuine and I really appreciate that because you and I spoke at an event last year, and it was just so easy to speak to you. And I know people that don't know each other well in business, sometimes it's not that easeful. And you actually kept to what you said you were going to do too. Because I spoke to you and I said, "You're fabulous. I want you on my podcast," and you followed through with it, which is a
And
big
here I am.
thing. Yeah. And so, what is a leadership practice that you do daily to really bring that humanness forward?
I don't know if it's something I do daily for the humanness. I mean, I'm connection first. So I do
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
connection is the way that I have built my business, really. Like all of the opportunities that I have ever got in my business came from somebody else in going, they were putting on a conference and invited me to speak, or had their podcast and invited me on there, or there was a call out for media for something and they're like, Tina would be great for that. Like when you are connected with people, and of course I do it as much as I can in turn as well, and that law of reciprocity and helping each other grow from human to human, I think that's like the best way. And
I love
so
that so much.
relationships for me is probably the most important thing. Dale Beaumont, who is a friend of mine and I think one of the greatest business owners in the country, if not the world, um, really taught me that. So we became friends like when we were really young. I was 21 when we met at a business thing, and I went in one of his books. He wrote many, many books, and I went in one of his books. And he always talks about like the importance of relationships and connections, and what people say about you when you're not around is the only thing that matters long term in business. And, like I said before, I've changed direction in business quite a few times, and I'll, continue to change directions and chase my joy and chase what I think the world needs from me next. And that all comes with me from business to business and from mission to mission because of those relationships that I've built up. And how I remind myself of that, I don't know. I think it's just innate. I'm like the only thing I do daily right now, which I'm really, really loving, but it's not really, it doesn't really answer your question, but it's the thing that popped into my head was I got a sauna a year and a half ago.
Ah, an infrared
And I tell
sauna.
you, Danny, it's changed my life.
Maybe that is your leadership skill. It's cleansing you daily.
It is. Like there's things that at the end of the day when I've been on and I go and I literally like visualize, I'm like sweating out all of the energy so I don't get burnt out by other people's energies and like
Yes.
leaving all the problems behind and then I come out and I'm like clear, and I listen to classical piano, which I would never listen to at any other time. But at the start, I was listening to podcasts and I was like just taking notes on my phone while I was in there, and it wasn't really doing much for me. And now I just lay there for 20 minutes under this blue light, listening to the piano and letting everything go. And it's just lovely.
I love that, Tina. You know what? I actually teach the shower of love. So this is kind of, I guess it's the same
Ah,
thing, but in the
thank
sauna, because I teach, you as the water's running down you, you just say, "I wash away all that does not serve me." So at the end of the day, I wash away all that does not serve me, and visualize it going down the drain. You're doing exactly the same thing
it's
in
a
a
real
sexy
thing. But
sauna.
then, yes, but then I'll also caveat it with, up until 3 years ago, if someone had told me, you know what you need, Tina, a 20-minute sauna a day, I would have said, fuck off. I don't have time for that. Like, no, that was not where my life was. Sorry, I didn't check if I could swear. I'm
You
sorry.
can swear. We're all about
Okay,
being
good, good.
authentic here. You can
Okay,
do
good, good,
whatever
good.
you want.
So yeah, there's in the different seasons, like once my kids started getting older, it's amazing how much more time I have available now for things like
Ugh.
self-love showers.
Mine's a rush because I'm still in the season. I do have the 17-year-old, but I have the 7-year-old as well. So
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still in the thick of it all at the
Yeah.
moment. But I do really love that. And one of my jobs, well, one of my businesses was a classical piano teacher because I studied that at the con. So there you
Wow.
go. See, we're connected in
Yes.
so many ways now. I could just be
We do
playing the
like a
piano for
breathing
you
circle one
outside.
day and you
The
can
sauna.
play and we can all lay and breathe.
Sounds beautiful. Thank you so much. I just love that so much. And that's going to be my goal now, Tina, to stop the shower of love and start the sauna of love.
Yes. I had it on my goals list for over 5 years that I wanted one, and every time I looked at it, I was like, "That's just too expensive. That's ridiculous. Will I even use it? I don't know." And then literally, I go in there every day. My husband most days, and even my sons go in there at least a couple times a week. It's
That's
great.
brilliant. So good.
Yeah.
So good. Okay, so we're going to finish on one last question. And this is for all the listeners. And I would love for you to give advice to the listeners who feel like that they're here for more. So they're here for more leadership, more impact, or even just more alignment within themselves, because you are truly such an aligned human being when we come in and out of alignment, but you truly know what that is now. What one piece of advice would you give them to really start stepping into that part of themselves?
It sounds like it's one of the simplest things, but it's one of the hardest things. Like it really, really is.
Yeah.
I worked with a fantastic business coach, Barrett Brooks, all through 2023 because I felt like I was out of alignment. Like that was our whole thing for a whole year. I worked on why am I feeling like I'm out of alignment? And it was for me. Oh, this story makes me sound like such a dick. But a big part of it was my whole life, I have really, like, I've been a battler, a struggler kind of thing. Like, I left home when I was 14. I didn't have a great childhood. I've always, like, fought for it. I've always, like, almost enjoyed the feeling of back against the wall, like, what are we made of? Let's do it.
Yeah.
And that whole pursuit of proving myself. And it got to 5 years ago, and I no longer needed to do that. I had more than all the money I'd ever dreamed of. I had the life wilder than my wildest dreams, and was like, now what? Like, what do I do? Do I get motivated by something else? Like I was just really lost and felt really out of alignment. And what does it all mean? And like asking all the big questions. I was about to turn 40 at the same time. So having like this big existential nightmare. And I had to really figure out, like, what does this next chapter of life mean? I've also felt a lot with my kids coming of age, like a lot of grief around that, which I know not a lot of people talk about, but all I wanted to do when I grew up was get married, have children, make this beautiful family, make a bucket ton of money. And so like all of that is it's like ending, and I'm like, what next? Like what happens now? And it was amazing how simple yet difficult that was to, and a big part of what I had to work on was getting out of my head and really paying attention to my heart and getting that
Mhm.
intuition
Yes.
dialed back up. And I think so long through hustling and proving myself and working really hard no matter what. I mean, my slogan used to be no matter the mood, I'm getting it done. And I would work until I couldn't see anymore, or I had a splitting headache, or I, wouldn't let myself go to the toilet because I hadn't finished that task. The level of discipline that I had was ridiculous. Yes, a part of it got me to where I was, but also I could have been so much kinder to myself along the
Mm.
way. And a big part of me had to really realize, what do I actually want? Because I've spent such a long time convincing myself that I wanted something different. And if I dropped all
Oh.
of the expectations, you mentioned the shoulds before, like all of the things that my thinking brain was like, I should be feeling this, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. If I dropped all of that and just went, but what do I want to do? Like, what is that in my soul level? What is that that's like truly aligned? And for a lot of middle-aged women is damn near impossible to figure out what are we truly aligned with. Like it
Mhm.
is actually a really difficult question if you've spent your whole life serving other people, serving your partner, your kids, your work, like all of the different things. And so really to have the opportunity, such a privileged opportunity to go, all right, I'm at the stage in my life, like what actually makes me happy and what energy do I want to bring with that? It took me a long time to work on that and work out from that. And then everything shifted in my life after that. And I felt, so I'm really grateful that you said that, I come across as a very aligned person because I have tried really hard to do that. But I wonder if you'd met me like 10 years ago, if you would have thought the same. It's an interesting thing to think about and to ponder. But I think in terms of advice that I have for other people, like it's something I'm still checking in with myself all the time with decisions and going, am I thinking this or am I feeling this? Like one of the books that I love is Richard Schwartz has a book, No Bad Parts, about your different
Mm.
parts of
Yep.
yourself that talk to each other. And one of the things that I found really difficult was like, where are you feeling that in your body? And I'm like, what do you mean? I don't feel that. I don't feel it anyway. What do you mean? I'm thinking.
Mhm.
Like and I went to I'm telling you this big long story that you've asked me like one simple question, but
I love it.
your questions are big, Danny.
Yeah.
But I went to this Chinese medicine dude who was, recommended by so many of my friends. And he was like, your head is cut off. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you are disconnected from your head. And he's like, that my auras were not connecting from my head around my body because I had like shut off everything else to just make sure I was doing the right thing. And so sometimes, like now, and all the experiments I'm doing in business and all the directions that I go, it doesn't necessarily make sense strategically all the time. I'm still very strategic and I'm still very pragmatic, but there's some things that I'm just like, I just know I want to do this. And it's not necessarily the thing that, if I was business coaching someone else, it's not the strategy I would give them because I'm like, it's not the smartest thing on paper to do, but it's the thing that I know I want to do and it feels right. And I find that when I follow that more and trust my intuition, it ends up being right.
Tina, we couldn't finish on anything more perfect because this is exactly what I teach my people. So I don't even want to ruin what you said because
just go listen to
just
Danni.
Go forth and do what Tina said, because being in your body, and I have an actual really simple, I might drop it in the notes of this podcast, a really simple process of getting out of your head into your body. You just connect yourself to the earth. It literally takes 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes. And it's just understanding what that means. And I really loved how you said, what do you mean feelings? What do you mean feelings? And I'm so passionate about that because when I went on my journey of self-discovery, I was completely against. I'm like, I don't want to feel my feelings. What do you mean? I don't have time to feel my feelings. But it wasn't until you actually understand what that means, it makes such a difference. There's another book called The Body Keeps the Score. I don't know if you've ever read that one. And
I'm seeing a workshop with him in a couple months. He's coming to Australia. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's exciting. We'll have to talk about that once we finish. Because I would love to be at that, because I recommend that book to so many of my clients to help them understand how it's just affecting their body and the way that they speak to themselves. And, I really love that. And I can't remember the name of the scientist that did the rice test. Have you heard of the rice test? The Japanese scientist. And he had two bowls of rice and water. One they spoke to really nicely, like, you're beautiful, you're so intelligent, and, all of those wonderful things. And another one's like, you're disgusting, you're so dumb, blah, 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 blah. And this one here goes moldy. And I didn't believe it because I'm very much like, well, I don't know if that's right. So I did it myself and it happened. So the one that I spoke really badly to and just ignored pretty much went like this slimy brownie color, and the other one just stayed like normal. So it's just, the way that
I haven't read it in the rice test, but I know it does it with plants. And so I will go and like clean my plants' leaves and talk to them. I have special plant cleaning gloves that I put on to wipe the dust off and tell them how beautiful they are. And I tell you what, I used to buy like a new indoor plant every 2 weeks to replace the one I had killed. I have not bought a plant in years.
See? That's another bomb, everybody. Like, just love yourself like you love your plants or you love your food or whatever that is.
I was like, my thing is I've got to love myself like I love my dogs. Because I love my dogs so intensely and would do anything for them. And I'm like, the love and care and grace I give to my dogs, why am I not, like, I'm making sure they've drank enough water, they've fed well, they've got their treaties, they've gone for their walks, like they've gone to the toilet, all the things. Yeah. Are they comfy enough on their 5 beds that they have available? Have they rested? Yes.
So true. Yes. So on that note, thank you so much, Tina, for sharing all of your wisdom. It's just such an honor to have you on the Danni Vee Show. And I look forward to coming to your workshop soon. We have to find out what that is all about.
Yeah. If anyone wants to find me, just go to herempirebuilder.com. And I've got a free workshop coming up.
Incredible. And we've got all of it in the show notes, so you can connect with Tina in the show notes. See you guys.
Thanks, Danni.
Thank you so much for joining me on the Danni Vee Show today. I hope you're leaving this episode feeling inspired and empowered. My goal is always to bring you elegant insights with a bold impact. If you enjoyed our conversation, I invite you to subscribe to the show and leave a quick review. Your feedback not only means the world to me, but it also helps other growth-minded leaders find this community. Remember, leadership is an inside-out journey. The poise, the passion, and the purpose we cultivate within ourselves are what transform the world around us. So until next time, stay true to your vision and keep leading with the unique mix of grace and strength. Stay radiant, stay resilient, and I'll be right here cheering you on. I can't wait to hang out with you again on the next episode of the Danni Vee Show.